We made a very deliberate decision when we started our firm in 2009 that we were really deeply going to invest in the office, and in particular in one office. And so we were kind of semi-notorious in the industry for we only ever had one office. The office was in Menlo Park, California. This is actually controversial even in the Bay Area because there were lots of startups were actually in San Francisco. Lots of the younger people who work for us lived up in San Francisco, and we said, and everybody every year was like, we got to put up an office in San Francisco, and we're like, nope, single office, everybody's going to be in the office. And the reason for that was we wanted the beehive effect. Like we wanted people when they walk in, both the people who work for us, but also the people who are visiting us, to really feel like they were tapping into energy. They were seeing lots of other interesting people. That this was like the kind of environment, and the kinds of people they'd want to be around. Like everybody else, in March of 2000, like we shut that down, and we went, completely online. And like everybody else, we were shocked that we were able to continue to run the firm, basically keep everything going. We actually have quite a few companies that have actually elected to actually stay very office-centric, which is actually a very interesting counter-programming thing that some people are doing now. But, generally speaking, our companies were indicating that they were going to become more flexible and they were going to really start to spread out. And then the industry just felt like it was going to expand. And we were seeing, a lot of founders who were frustrated being in the Bay Area, basically left over this period, and they went to other places and they started companies. And so we basically decided, like, we can't be in the business of partnering with people who are building the future if we're not living in the future ourselves. And so we basically said, we'll just do a hard reset. We'll become, sort of, say, remote-centric or sort of virtual-centric. Actually, the WeWork model being ahead of its time, we're going to have more smaller offices and more locations. So we're going to accommodate. We're an investment operation, not a product company. So we don't have like assembly lines or software kind of production. So we have a simpler version of the problem, but we're letting our teams decide basically how to distribute. So we have some teams that want to be in person. We have some teams that want to be remote. And I would say, I think it's, so we're doing all that. So the way basically the firm runs now is we basically run the firm remote. Like all the formal meetings are on Zoom. Everything is kind of equalized, kind of that way. But the teams are free to cluster whenever they want. And then we have a very big focus on two things. One is offsites, and so every team is expected to get together on a frequent basis, and we really invest in that. And then a lot more travel. And so I'm traveling. My steady state, I think, is going to be traveling at like 4x the number of days that I used to travel. So for us, it feels like a real broadening out of what a firm like ours is capable of doing. It feels like a way to basically accommodate scale, because we definitely felt bottlenecked. Where we were. We're going to be on 5 years in here pretty quick, and so there's an entire generation of kids coming out of school that are going to go to work for these companies, and they're going to have a different set of both expectations and issues. And so this is why I think we're still at the beginning of the change. Like I think we're 3 years into probably a 10-year process, and I think the level of reinvention is going to be actually quite staggering from here.